was good. That's great.
Whose house?
There we go. So how is my demeanor?
You're
I
very
don't want to be
nice.
slouching this shit. I have horrible posture. Definitely have bad posture.
That's not your fault though, man. That's genetics.
You know.
So, this is house shoes, and this, not in particular, but this right here is Shoes House.
This is.
And for those who don't know, this wonderful new series will be about
House shoes. Duh.
ha 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 ha. All right, so Brother Shoes, let's take them to the very beginning, man. Where did music kind of fit into the context of your young life as a little kid?
My earliest musical memories come from the grocery store. There was like a little fruit market called, what was it called? I can't remember the name of it, but it was right on the corner of like the closest main intersection to the house I grew up in. And it was this cat there named Popeye who used to do like a Popeye, imitation and shit. And I just remember always hearing music in the background. That's the first like instance where I remember, I had a memory of coming into contact with music at all. Pretty much.
Did you have a lot of music going on in the house as a kid?
Yeah, my mom always played music for the radio or, playing her records. My parents were separated, divorced when I was like maybe 3 or 4. I would go to my pop's house on the weekend. We go to the record store, cop some 45s, regular shit. I didn't get into hip-hop till I was in like the 5th grade, so, it was like fucking Corey Hart, shit like that. Fucking name some regular shit, like the first season of MTV type shit. When the first season MTV was on, that's like the kind of shit that was.
Like the Eurythmics?
Yeah, all that regular shit. You know what I'm saying? What was that song I just heard the other day for the first time since I heard it on MTV back in the day? Lunatic Fringe by Red Ryder. That shit is really fresh, kind of like some old new wave shit. That shit took me back hearing that shit the other day.
Were you kind of like the kid who always sought out different sounds? Because, some kids kind of have like a whimsical fascination with music. Like, was that kind of you?
I just like music. You know what I'm saying? I like music, and then when I got into hip-hop, I really got into music. Like, because I felt I had catching up to do, in the 5th grade. And, yeah, I mean, I was in like 6th, 7th grade knowing that Tuesday was release date. You know what I'm saying? Like, marking, going up there and seeing the shit on the calendar that was coming out over the next few months and having my own little notepad and shit I knew I had to get. So, I was on top of it.
When you first kind of had a little bit of dough yourself, like what were you buying?
Oh, shit. LL Cool J. But I remember I used to get all my shit at Musicland. It was like a strip mall with like a Farmer Jack, which was like our, Ralph's or Vons, that type of shit. And it was like a Service Merchandise, which is like comparable to what now? I don't know.
Had that
Super Baby Target type shit.
Yeah.
It was a little department store, a bunch of little shops and shit. It's a big boy over there. And they had a Musicland. And this chick, Martine Sullivan, she was cool as hell. And she just always put me up on all the new shit, like, make sure you get this. And I was stealing mad shit back then, too, like stealing cassette singles. Like, I used to steal all kinds of tapes and take them to school and sell them and get money to actually buy my own tapes. You know what I'm saying? Silly shit.
Were you kind of like the curator in your crew? Because he was always the
never really
kid.
had a crew.
No.
Nah, up through, like, high school. So, like, when I graduated, I was like I'm not going to say like a loner, but I didn't claim a crew. I fucked with everybody. You know what I'm saying? When you got a crew, there's too many strings attached to that shit, If they ain't riding with somebody, you can't fuck with them. And I never got down like that. I was always a little bit too independent for that. When
you kind of got to high school, for most people, your kids kind of start to mature and you kind of find your little niche or your lane. You go really hard in. Like for you, what was kind of that sound in the high school years?
Man, just good hip hop shit. You know, we was in Detroit, so it was West Coast, East Coast, South shit really hadn't gotten up to us yet. But you know, shit from Diamond D to Ice-T to NWA to Tribe Called Quest, Chaos and Maestro, Awesome Dre. You know, if it was good, I fucked with it.
Were you on? Did you have like buddies in the crew or your group rather that had turntables, or was the DJing aspect that kind of even in the mix during high school?
I mean, I would still have my record buying periods. You know, I'd get the 12 inches because they'd have like bonus shit that wasn't on the albums and shit like that. But I wasn't DJing. I had a record player. I had a Fisher Price affordable record player, the same one that I got like my first record player up until probably I was, a senior in high school. That's what I listened to my records on. And, yeah. That's it. I totally lost track of the question.
Shoes house, God damn it.
Right.
The questions can be whatever they want. No, so I guess I'm trying to find the connect, like where you kind of got into the first tastes of like DJing, or even just kind of being around.
I mean,
DJing.
Seeing Jam Master Jay and seeing the early like DMC, seeing Rapmatic on the DMC and shit like that. I got a memory from when I was in high school, probably maybe a couple years after high school. I got this DMC tape with Red on there, just body and shit, and like I went and got my mom, like, Mom, look what they're doing with these records. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And she was kind of checking it out, like, wow, it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? And then 2 years later, I had a pair of turntables up in my bedroom.
How'd you come up on those?
When I got kicked out of Eastern for arson. I spent all the balance of my tuition and room and board on records, probably over the course of like 2-3 months, $3,000-$4,000 worth, and a couple homies just let me borrow their turntables, and one of them let me borrow a mixer. One of them was like a Kenwood, belt drive, had like a wood kind of frame on it, and it had a little pitch control on it though. And then the other turntable was one of them shitty ass Pioneer plastic, super thin with a little pitch wheel on there. And I would just sit in the room, fucking like doing remixes, putting acapellas over instrumentals and shit, blending instrumentals, making blend tapes for myself and the homies to listen to.
Were you kind of like the sole guy that was doing this that you knew of at the time, or did you have other friends?
No. I mean, I got introduced to DJing through my boy Omari, DJ O Love. I used to pick him up. He was a junior, I was a senior, and I like to always have the music first. I went over his crib one day, and he had all his turntables and shit, and he just had records everywhere, and there was records that like wasn't even out yet. You know what I'm saying? Like the white labels back in the day was the first attempt that the major labels, put forth to break new music, to the DJs. So these records would be floating around 6 months to a year before they would actually see a real release. So I was like, shit, I need to get on this shit. So I started going, to the record store on the East Side Record Time and Car City Classics and going through the promo bins and just seeing what all the new promos were, just like that. Just cutting my teeth, finding some new shit to introduce to people.
Was it more just for friends, or were you doing like house parties and?
Nah, I wasn't doing no bar. I mean, the first time I ever DJ'd was in the 6th grade, the day we got out of school for the summer, and I had like a party in my backyard, and it was like me, my boy Scott, 2 girls, and my boy John Moss. That's all, the only people who came. And I had like that singular kind of stereo unit with a turntable on top, dual cassette, and a radio tuner, you know what I'm saying? So I would just go from like record tape, back and forth. And then I had another party, like a Halloween party at the crib, when I was like a sophomore or a junior. We had like same type of thing, but it was components. I had a record player, like my parents' record player, and a tape deck, and borrowed a mixer from my boy. He had an old Radio Shack fucking Jazzy Jeff mixer and shit. It's crazy.
So your sound had evolved?
Nah, it's basically just, fading back and forth. I wasn't doing cuts and no shit like that. I was just playing what I like.
At this time, was there any kind of scene, so to speak, of in Detroit in terms of hip-hop?
Shit, like 91? I mean, I don't know. There had to be. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get introduced to the scene until like 93.
How'd that come about?
When I was going to Eastern, my boy Low Key from one of the first crews I was in, last one's out. Him, my boy Zoe, my boy VC.
Zoe, like Lorenzo Ferguson Zoe?
Nah. My boy Zoe, plain clothes. It was a group. Grim Reefer, my boy Grim, rest in peace. Low Key, and Zoe called him Mixo, and I was the DJ, and I did all the beats and shit. And that didn't happen until like a couple years after, maybe a year after the fact. But when I was going to Eastern, they would drive up to Ypsilanti from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? We'd go to St. Andrews or Stanley's Rhythm Kitchen. You know, hang out all night, or the Mecca on Broadway, and it was crazy. Like, just to see that shit going down in the city, like DJs playing real shit, motherfuckers rapping. It was fresh. Every Friday, we go down there and chill, and then they'd take me back to Ipsy at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning every week. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Then after I got kicked out of school, and I got all the records and shit, I started going into St. Andrews every Friday with like a little stack of records, try to get like the last 10, 15 minutes of the night, play some shit.
Who did you mess with down there that you kind of knew or had an in with?
My boy Dez, my boy Slim Fast, Tony Oliveira, and DJ Cheese. Those are like the 3 DJs. And one night, Cheese got in a fight. Friday, 3 floors of fun at St. Andrews it was a 3-story club. Upstairs was house and techno from like the dopest house and techno DJs in the city.
Detroit.
Main floor, the ballroom was hip hop, playing all the dopest hip hop shit, and the basement was alternative, playing all the dopest alternative shit. So it was a mixed crowd. Cats would move from floor to floor. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy.
That's pretty unique though, because we really don't have anything like that.
Nothing like that. Everything is segregated now. But one night, Cheese got in a fight with the DJ on the alternative floor, and he got fired. And my man Lito, who was working security, you know, told him to hire me, and they hired me. I worked there for like 10 fucking years.
This is at what age that you first got on?
94, so I was 19.
First regular DJ gig.
Uh-huh.
What was it paying? Something like that paying?
$80 a night.
Yeah?
Uh-huh.
Caking.
Weed money.
Not that you would need it, right? Because cats would be coming through.
Oh yeah, we were
breaking you off.
Fucking faded every Friday night up there.
What
In and out.
Yeah, man. Yo, tell them. You want to break them down the secret, the lemonade?
No, we can't let them know that. No lemonade secrets yet. We'll put it on the next episode.
All right, word. So you're St. Andrews, 94. Now, there's definitely. I mean, you're kind of old enough and in the mix to kind of see a scene developing, right? With a lot of MCs that are now giants and legends in the Detroit scene.
Right, definitely.
Where did St. Andrews kind of fit in the context of that burgeoning scene?
St. Andrews was our church. I'm not a religious motherfucker at all. I believe in God. I don't play no teams. Music's always been it for me, and you know, for all of us. And you know, church was in session every Friday night, and Saturday afternoon at the hip hop shop. You know what I'm saying? You had Friday night at St. Andrews. You had Saturday at the hip hop shop. And between those 2 spots, you saw everybody every week that mattered. You know. I used to work at street corner music. I would go and DJ. You know, I would work on Friday, then leave around 6, 7 o'clock. Go get the trees for the club, drive down there, party all night, leave, go to the crib, get home by 3 or 4 in the morning, wake up, go to street corner, pick up the check for Angot, which was like our local mom and pop's distributor, where we would go, you know, over the course of the week. You get a lot of your shipments early in the week, so if it was some hot shit and it sold out, we had a mom and pop's distributor where we could go and just grab that shit to fill in the holes in, you know, in the stock. So we didn't have to, like, next day air some shit in from a distributor out of town. So I would go there. I would go to street corner on Saturday morning, pick up the check for Angot, go to Angot. They would have all the new 12 inches. You know what I'm saying? So I would get 2 12 inches for gas money. That would be my gas money. I'd just get 2 new records or a tape. You know, I remember, like, I got my Cuban Links there. All that shit. Liquid Swords. All that classic shit from, like, 94, 95, 96 I got on the Saturday before it came out, doing my Angot runs. Take the shipment, on the way back to street corner, stop at the weed spot, get some weed, smoke a blunt on the way back to street corner, drop the shit off, roll another blunt, smoke that shit on the way to the hip hop shop, you know, catch up with the fellas, smoking in the alley, or, you know, Dez might not have been there, or DJ Head, who was kind of the resident at the shop, M's old DJ. You know, I'd fill in, you know, DJ the battles and shit, and that shit was ground zero, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this battle shit. I know it happened everywhere, but I don't think any other place had that shit like we had it every Saturday afternoon. Thoroughbreds.
10 years, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, shit, that was almost 20 years ago.
Looking back, do you kind of see that as being a real happy chapter in your life?
Hell yeah, that shit was Disneyland. Come on, man, paradise. Anybody would give might give one of their limbs to go back to them times, man. It was just the innocence, you know. We didn't have the foresight to really see that we could have had like a head start in getting business shit together, and we were just having fun, you know what I'm saying? We were smoking weed and motherfuckers rapping and battling and just enjoying the music.
That's kind of how it should be, though, right? I mean, let it be
definitely
youthful and unadulterated. And
yeah, you grow up, you think too much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Very spontaneous back in the day. And
so this is St. Andrews ends in what year?
I did St. Andrews from 94 till like 2005. 11 years.
What prompted the ending of that?
2005? It was on and off. You know, just the paper for the most part. The money was like, the most I made from up there was like maybe $150. 200 tops. And it was just time for my own shit. You know what I'm saying? I did that shit long enough, and I just wanted to do my own shit. I wanted to make all the money. Not to sound greedy on some white devil shit. But I wanted, you know, it was money to be made. So why not me make that shit? Why DJ at a spot where they charging motherfuckers and there's fucking 600-700 motherfuckers there, and they getting the bar and the door and all that shit, and I'm getting crumbs when I could find me a little cool little spot, charge $3-4 a head, take all that shit, you know? I mean, it was... Left St. Andrews, went to the Buddha Lounge. Buddha Lounge was a little bar on West 8 Mile at Losser. And classic shit, man. A little small, little kind of tiki bar. Man, we used to go crazy in that motherfucker. 2 nights, we did Tuesday night and we did Saturday night. And it was some of the most classic shit ever in Detroit hip-hop, period. Just a party with the most diverse crowd you would ever see. You know what I'm saying? We transferred that over to Northern Lights when the Buddha Lounge started acting funny. Started trying to dip in my pockets. So we had to change that up. Went to Northern Lights, took it over there, had classic years at Northern Lights. Had a couple classic years there. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible how, you know, once you take the reins of your own shit, it can be a lot more beneficial. You go from making $150, $200 at a club to doing your own shit and just feeling good about having your own shit and charging $3 a head and walking out of that motherfucker on average with like $1,000
a night.
Yeah. So yeah, put the work in, you know, you see the benefit.
And then the move to Los Angeles.